Welcome everyone to Beyond the Adventure. Today's episode is a Blue Ridge Parkway Part 2, and let's get going. So starting this episode out, I wanted to show you guys one of the many entrance signs that you would see upon entering the Blue Ridge Parkway. Now, last week's episode of Adventure Wednesday and Beyond the Adventure was the first part on the Blue Ridge Parkway, so if you missed that episode, I'm just going to briefly recap what is on the Wikipedia page for the Blue Ridge Parkway. Blue Ridge Parkway is a national parkway and all-American road in the United States noted for its scenic beauty. The Parkway, which is America's longest linear park, runs for 469 miles through 29 Virginia and North Carolina counties, linking Shenandoah National Park to the Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And like I said to you guys last week, I was here on the Blue Ridge Parkway twice before when I was younger. We did the whole length of it once entirely on the motorcycle, and the other time we did a lot of huge sections of it on the motorcycle, but we would also drive in between the locations on the trailer that was towing the motorcycles and everything like that. Anyways, last week when I ended the episode out, it's kind of confusing because where I ended the episode out is where we got off of the Parkway to go down to where the Natural Bridge. If you guys didn't see that episode, I'll throw the link up here and down below as well. And then when we entered the Parkway, I didn't want to drive back up to the same spot that we exited because it was a very steep grade going all the way down the hill, and it was, you know, an awful long time. I wanted to say it was like 20 or 25 minutes just to make it down this hill to get to where the Natural Bridge was. So when we did re-enter the Parkway, I joined it about 5 or 10 miles or so from where I actually ended the episode out. Now heading up here, you can see that we are getting further south, and like I said to you guys before, there's different varying levels of vegetation. You can see that some things in the lower areas are in full bloom. When you got to the top, the trees were just barely budding. There was a nice, I believe it was a red-tailed hawk that was flying around. We actually saw a bunch of those on this day here. I don't know if it's because there were, you know, storms and stuff recently, so they were just out scavenging for food. I really like this shot right here with the blades of grass. You see the clouds going off in the distance. You see the shadow casting on the mountain up ahead. Very, very cool, very, very scenic. And also, like I told you guys before, the Blue Ridge Parkway does not cost anything to drive on it. It is completely free, and it is also completely closed to commercial traffic, which is absolutely awesome. That means you're only going to see people riding bicycles, motorcycles, RVs, campers, you know, pickup trucks, cars, SUVs. You're not going to see big tractor trailers driving through here. You're not going to see, you know, massive convoys of construction vehicles or things like that unless they're actually doing preventative maintenance on the road work up here. Also, I decided to pull off in this spot here. I really liked the way this rock ledging was set up there. I thought it was pretty cool. Now looking here, completely erase all the trees that haven't really bloomed yet, but looking off in the distance, that reminds me of something like Jurassic Park or Jurassic World, like being down there in Hawaii. It was a really awesome, breathtaking views of just lush green vegetation. So traveling through the Parkway here, you can actually see that this road has been repaved recently, which is something that is absolutely awesome to see that the National Park here is doing all this maintenance and keeping the structures and keeping the roads in excellent condition, considering they don't even charge you to go into the park, which is absolutely mind-boggling because a lot of the state parks where I live, they charge you an admission fee of like $5 to $10, and then your money goes out to the other side of the state to be used in another park. The money that you spend doesn't actually stay in the park, which is something that really bothers me. I think whenever you donate money or whenever you give money for an admission price to a location, that money should be used on that sole location only for renovations, improvements, preventative maintenance, stuff like that. Anyways, driving through here, you can see just the differing layers of vegetation and how some things are really lush. You can see what parts of the mountain maybe are in the sun a lot more than other parts. There's a really brief waterfall that we passed up here. Now, Shenandoah National Park, or the Skyline Drive, is an absolutely awesome and amazing view, but it is also like a $20 admission price, I believe it was, to get in there. Like I said, this was free. This is something that, if you're in America, this is your tax dollars went to pay for this. Your ancestors' tax dollars went to pay for this, to make national parks for us to go out and explore, which is something that a lot of people seem to have stopped doing in recent years. You know, with all the technology and everything that existed, parks seem to have taken a back step, and now people are seeming to go back out and re-enjoy the parks, re-explore nature. You know, There's a lot of different, hiking clubs and stuff like that. And social media is really helping these things along. People post pictures on Instagram. I did a bunch of posts on Instagram from various locations, and you get people to like the stuff, and you end up talking to other people that are located in different areas and share similar interests that you do. Now, heading down here, I thought this was a really cool little area with the snaking of the road. Stopping off here, this was absolutely awesome. This, I think it was called the Upper Hill Creek Valley or something like that, but this is a whole valley. You can see the entire valley. You are on one edge, the other two edges, and then the final edge there. That is just absolutely awesome. I mean, if that doesn't look like, Jurassic Park or, some tropical island movie, I mean, I don't know what does. There, obviously there's no beaches there and palm trees, but still, it is a really awesome view. And it's also really nice being on the Blue Ridge Parkway because the speed limit is only like 35 miles an hour, and more times than not, you're really not going to be traveling the full speed on the Parkway because there are these sharp turns here, and then you don't really know what's around the corner. Animals are coming, they're running out of the woods and stuff like that. We saw a bear a couple weeks back. There were millipedes, things like this. There was a very long parking area here, which I don't know if, there's just a lot of cars that pull over in that spot. But once again, awesome shot of all the different mountains, and you can see for miles and miles and miles, on a day where it is smoky or cloudy, misty, whatever you want to call it. I'm sure you can't see a half a mile in front of you, but getting up here on this day was absolutely perfect considering the rain that we experienced the first day going through Shenandoah National Park, and the thunderstorms that we experienced on the drive down here. Anyways, traveling through the rest of the Blue Ridge Parkway, there's going to be a clip coming up in a second here. Now, I have a motorcycle. I know what it's like to ride a motorcycle. I know what it's like to be stuck behind a car or a truck or something. Anyways, there was this group of 3 motorcyclists that was right behind me. I think it's after this. Iron Mine Hollow. This was also a really awesome view right here. Anyways, there was a group of motorists or motorcyclists behind me. There was no location that I could safely pull over to the side, because that's what I was going to do. I was going to pull over to the side and flag these guys down, let them go in front of me. But you will see in a second here, these are all blind curves. You should really never pass somebody on a curve. You should really never pass somebody when there is a double yellow line on the road, because it is illegal and it is not safe to do so. But you will see when we're coming around down this hill here, these motorcycles were just so far up the back end of my truck, I had no place to pull over. It's, right around in here. Yeah, okay, so you see there's no place to pull over. There's a car passing, and then that guy, he just passes me blindly on the side as another car is coming. So what I had to do was pretty much slam on my brakes, almost causing his 2 friends that were riding motorcycles to crash into my back of my pickup truck because he wanted to get around, because he was in a race apparently, or he was in a rush to get somewhere, which, I do understand what it's like being stuck behind a vehicle or something, but passing like that is completely unsafe. That kind of, just made me pull over the truck for a little while. I stopped there. I didn't want to catch back up to them because I probably would have had a few choice words for the person. But anyways, we are getting towards the exit of the Blue Ridge Parkway, or one of the exits right here. It actually continues for another 200 or 300 or so miles from here. But anyways, this is really the last final driving episode is over. Last final driving episode of this season. There is going to be one more episode in there that involves some driving, but it's going to be of a much larger and wild scale. I can't wait to show you guys that episode. From what I remember right now, there are 5 more episodes left in this season, and then season 6 will be over. But anyways, that's going to do it for today's episode, guys. Thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the footage, let me know by giving this video a thumbs up, and I will see everybody tomorrow for Thungry Thursday to go. Peace.